Are you still looking for a helper, like you mentioned at the Troskovitz Tavern?
Hi, I am. I wasn't expecting you to actually show up. You young folks these days are all talk and no action.
Well, I'm not like that. I also heard you might be able to get me into the wedding.
Forget about the wedding for now.
All right. So, what kind of work do you have for me?
You'll be carrying sacks of flour.
You don't have anything better? I can do other, more useful things.
Oh, that's nice and all, but there's only one thing I need from you right now. And that's hauling sacks of flour.
Maybe you could use an armed escort. In a remote place like this, I'm sure you could use someone with some battle experience.
Battle experience, you say? Aye. I suppose you look the part. Fighting for your life, all dressed in steel. I reckon that takes a lot of strength, eh?
That it does. And not just strength.
Of course. So, as a fearless strong man, I'm sure you wouldn't mind a little warm-up. Hauling sacks of flour for me.
Do you really have nothing better I could do?
I do, but only for people I know already. And you're not one of them.
All right. It's not like I have much of a choice, do I?
The sacks are in the barn, and the wagon is in front of it. I'll give you a groschen for every half-dozen you carry. You won't have to buy food. We'll take care of that. And you can sleep here, in the barn. But not on the sacks of flour, you understand? Or I'll tan your hide. Climb up to the loft with the others.
Oh, fuck me.
Careful what you wish for. Go on, get to work.
Heave-ho.
이거를 마차로? 마차가 어디 있는데? 아, 여기로?
Time for another one. Won't even break a sweat at this rate. Kurwa. What the?
Have you got it done? I said, are you done?
You're milling some pretty peculiar grain here, Miller. It's got a bit of a metallic flavour to it.
Kurwa. Can't you be more careful?
Tell me the truth. What are you really doing here?
Seems I'll have to lift the lid off the cauldron of knowledge sooner than I expected. You think you're ready?
Yes.
I'm attempting to convert matter into a truly miraculous energy.
What?
I understand. It seems impossible. I'm sure you're asking yourself what that has to do with the metal in the sacks. But we're only just scratching the surface. You see, for my experiment, I'll need something sinfully earthy. Something we'll have to appropriate. And that's something you can help me with, my curious apprentice.
So thievery. Just like Peshek in Ratai. I should have known.
Thievery? What a crude way of putting it.
But a truthful one.
Those things aren't mutually exclusive.
I'll help you.
That's the right attitude. Now listen up. In Troskovitz, next to the tavern, there's a rat house. And in that rat house, there's a chest. And in that chest is a document I need. One that used to be mine. But due to an unfortunate twist of fate, ended up there. It's called The Offer of Hermes Trismegistos. It's written right on it. You said you could do all sorts of things, so I assume reading is one of them. Am I right?
I can read. But I reckon that's the catch, isn't it?
The catch is, the chest is under lock and key, and most likely well guarded.
Of course it is. And then you'll get me into Semin's wedding?
Aye. If you help me, I'll find a way to get you there. Miller's honor.
Where exactly should I look for this document? I doubt they've only got one chest in the Troskovitz rat house.
I can't help you there, but my hand Zinnik might know more. He had the document on him, but then the bloody fool got caught because of something else, and they took it from him. I'm pretty sure he's still on display in the stocks on the square. Just remember, lad, if you get caught like he did, the guards will turn out your pockets. Then it would be pretty hard to explain what a tramp like you is doing with a document he can't even read.
No, I doubt the bailiff will let me roam around the rat house and go peeking through his chests. Any advice on getting in there without being spotted?
Oh, come on. Do I really have to spell it out for you? Black clothes, the play of light and dark. A quiet night, and those who live in the shadows, concealed beneath its veil.
Is that supposed to be advice?
Just get some inconspicuous clothing and head over there after midnight.
And where can I get some clothes like that?
I had my outfit washed in the Gilioff bathhouse, but after a bit of disagreement, they refused to give it back. It's my gift to you. All you have to do is pick it up.
Pick them up? You want me to steal them, don't you?
Doesn't it sound like a suitable appetizer before the main course? There's no sense in trying to deal with the owner, Dorothy, anyway. She's a contrary woman who's impossible to talk to.
I'm not even surprised your paths crossed. I'd like to learn more about the art of thievery.
Thievery? Humph. Well, I call it the art of thievery. It's simply an art. But all right, enough wordplay. If you want to learn something, go and see Hensel. He'll tell you how to relieve people of the things in their purses, or how to quickly and painlessly send them to the land of dreams. And if you'd like to try opening locks without a key, there's a chest in the barn that you carried the sacks to. You can practice on that.
All right. I reckon I know everything I need. Thanks.
Good evening, my friend. What do you need?
Krayzel said you'd teach me to pick pockets.
Sure. Follow me. I know a quiet place. So Krayzel took you on just like that? Surprising. Krayzel hardly trusts anyone. He's a smart man. So don't you even think about betraying him. That would end badly for you. Not to scare you, though. That's not what I'm here for.
Let's begin.
Not so fast. You're new here, so here's some advice before we get started.
Don't worry. It's not my first time.
Well, well, well. You fancy yourself. Let's see. Where would you look for keys on a person?
In the front pouch, of course.
All right. I see you have some skills. Do you think you're up to stealing something from the front?
Nah, I'm not quite ready for that.
Don't you want to hear about it anyway?
All right. Tell me.
First of all, rich or poor, most folks carry their things in a pouch either in front or in the back. The front one holds keys, coin, and other small items.
And the rest is in the back?
Exactly. Now, this is important. Don't steal from the front pouch unless you're sure you know what you're doing.
No problem. I can manage a different way.
Oh yeah? And how's that?
I'll take it from behind.
That you can. Just remember, it'll be further away and there's a bigger risk of getting caught.
Don't worry. I've tried it before.
Show me how nimble your fingers are then.
All right? Let's do it.
Come over here. What's the hold-up?
Done.
Very nice. I didn't notice you at all, and that's exactly what you want. Now give back what you took.
Here you go. What now?
That's it. It's a simple art. But if you want, you can give it another try.
I'd rather try takedowns.
Why not, since we're here? Well then, it's easy. Sneak up behind me and choke me out. I won't fight back the first time, so you should have no trouble. Just remember, you mustn't let me see you.
All right? I'll give it a try.
I almost slipped out. but you did well. Just don't forget, even if the person doesn't wriggle out of your grip like that, they'll remember you.
Would you know of any other way to make some extra money?
The only thing you can do in this backwater is steal cabbages. But go and ask those woodcutters on the opposite hill. You might find something more interesting there.
Why the woodcutters?
Just think about it. They've been cutting timber in the middle of nowhere for a pretty long time, and they get paid for every wagon they unload at the sawmill. They work all day long and don't move an inch. They have nothing to spend their money on.
I think I know what you're getting at.
All their earnings must be hidden somewhere in their camp. And it must be a lot of money.
What does Krayzel say about that?
He said it would be obvious it was one of us. After all, they can see right into our backyard from their camp. But you're not from around here. You might get away with it.
I like the way you think. I reckon I'll pay them a visit.
But if you're stupid enough to get caught, don't say a word about me putting you up to it. You hear? First, I'd lose my job, and then they'd beat me to a pulp.
Don't you worry. I heard you have some clothes here that belong to Miller Krayzel.
You're damn right I do. They're here waiting for him. Only I had to put them away in a chest in the loft. So I don't have to be constantly reminded of the debt Krayzel racked up here. Taking his bloody time he is, the bastard. Those rags have been here for so long, the rats have got into them. Why do you care about them so much anyway?
The miller mentioned them. Said I could take them.
Are you his new lackey or what? Did Zinnek start to get on his nerves?
Well,
Look, I don't really care who takes them. They're a bunch of boring rags. But if you only knew how much work it was to wash out them particular black stains and sew up the burn holes, and most of all, to wash out that awful stench of rotten eggs. Blah. Along with Krayzel's debt, it'll cost you this much, including the price of soap.
come on, Dorothy.
What is it?
Wouldn't you rather I got rid of those clothes once and for all? Don't you know they're cursed?
Cursed? What do you mean, cursed?
Well, I don't know how well you know Krayzel and the sort of stuff he's interested in.
I know he's a strange fella. And suspicious, too.
And what do you think suspicious folks like him do in their spare time?
Commune with the devil.
And how do you recognize the devil?
I don't know. He smells like hell itself? Like rotten eggs.
Krayzel has you wash the clothes that he dances with the devil in. Do you think it's safe to touch them?
Christ almighty.
As soon as I realised, I thought to myself, well, I can't leave poor Dorothy in it alone. If you give me those clothes, I'll ceremoniously destroy them. You and your girls will be safe.
For Christ's sake. How did it not occur to me? Here's the key to the chest in the loft. You'll recognise it by the pile of forgotten clothes around it. Take Krayzel's cursed rags far away from here.
You can count on me. Oh. You must be Zinnek. Am I right?
Who's asking?
Krayzel sent me. He wants me to get the document they took from you at the rat house.
Well, good luck with that, brother in the trade. They took it from me with all the stolen stuff because they thought it was part of the loot. I told them I had it before I robbed that merchant, but they wouldn't listen. They locked it all in a chest full of other stolen things in the rat house jail. You can get there from the courtyard behind the rat house. It's right under the guardhouse. Or you can get there from behind the tavern, alongside the fence. As soon as you find the stairs leading down, you'll know you're in the right place.
Who has the key to the chest?
Well, actually I had one, but when the guards shook me down, I must have dropped it. It was in the chamber next door to the one with the chest. They've got a pretty soft bed in there, I tell you. The key must have fallen under it.
Is that the only key?
No, of course not. Almost every guard in Troskovitz has one. Take it from one of them who's got his back turned. Or one who snuck off somewhere for a nap.
I'll keep it in mind. Thanks.
Wait, before you go, you do know how to pickpocket, right?
I'll manage. Leave it to me. The offer of Hermes Trismegistos. That's Kreizel's document.
What are you doing? Prowling about here?
I have that document from the rat house for you.
Excellent. I knew I could count on you.
Judging by the contents, it seems like you're dabbling in alchemy here at the mill.
That's not a bad guess. But don't forget about astrology, theurgy, transmutation, and a smidgen of demonology. Although that's something anyone with a grain of sense should avoid. Now show it to me, so I can finally get the knowledge. Good. Good. This will come in handy. Ah, yes, of course.
What now?
That much. We're going to need more. A lot more.
Did you hear me? What now?
Sorry. I got lost in thought. I owe you my thanks as well as reward for getting me the document. And maybe another little job? What do you say?
Don't tell me you've forgotten. I need to get to that wedding in Semin.
Don't worry. Your path is leading that way. Only it'll be a little longer than expected.
Are you yanking my pizzle?
Not at all. I'll get you to the wedding as sure as the heavens are above me, and the fire of the Creator is within me. But you'll have to wait a while. Besides, things are about to get really interesting. Step by step, we're moving closer to the great revelation.
Enough. I'm sick of listening to your cryptic blabbering. Supposing you first initiate me into the mysteries of your enchanting mill. This isn't any run-of-the-mill business, so to speak. I smell something devilish here.
Devilish? Not at all. You guessed it. It's nothing less than high learning. Alchemy! And when I say alchemy, I mean real alchemy. Not some hocus-pocus brewing of potions for creaky joints and bellyache.
Tell me more about it, then. Maybe I'll learn something useful.
I suppose. You are my apprentice, after all. You deserve to know what all of this is leading to. Now, pay close attention. I want to make a golem out of dough. Then, using secret alchemical practices and theurgy, bring him to life.
A golem? What's that?
A golem is a helper brought to life using divine words. A living statue endowed with massive strength. Can be made of clay, wood, stone, basically anything. I'll make one out of flour. Studying the Jewish Kabbals taught me a practice known as Maseh Bereshit. A mystic can use it to imitate the work of God. Just imagine. You know how helpful a golem would be at the mill? Carrying sacks, pulling wagons, standing guard. He wouldn't be much smarter than Zinnik, but he'd have the strength of 10 men.
My word. That sounds incredible. I have to see it.
So far, it's just all in my head. But if you're patient and help me, you'll see soon enough. It's in the interest of the advancement and prosperity of mankind. Just look at the Bible. Moses could command the waters and speak to God through the element of fire. And Jesus brought the dead back to life. I've no doubt that if our great Holy Mother Church had been around at the time, they'd have crucified Jesus the same as the Pharisees. And all the apostles would have been burned at the stake.
So a golem, you say, made of flour? For the good of mankind?
Exactly!
And what about the good of me? You promised me a reward.
You already know that you can learn the practical application of certain useful skills from me. But for a few groschen, we could discuss the art on a more, let's say, theoretical level.
I'm overwhelmed with gratitude. Supposing you give me a few groschen first, as a reward for bringing you the document, and then I'll decide whether to trade the coin for some learning.
Oh, see now, I completely forgot. Here you go. So you don't go around saying that Miller Krayzel is a pinch purse. I added in what I owe for those sacks you carried. And if you want some more work, there's plenty.
What's this next job all about?
I need to find a saltpeter pit.
Never a wasted word, eh, Krayzel?
Short and to the point. That's my credo.
And how long will it take before you tell me what a saltpeter pit is?
A saltpeter pit is a pit in which saltpeter is formed.
This has something to do with that alchemy of yours, eh? I don't know much about that stuff.
Nitra is saltpeter. White crystals similar to salt.
And what needs salting here in the mill? Or is it supposed to be some peculiar Krayzel wedding gift for a young semi?
Nothing of the sort. The Kabbalistic doctrine speaks of saltpeter as a vessel for the inexhaustible essence of life. Those white crystals are said to contain the very essence of being. That's precisely what we need to give life to our golem. Thanks to the ingredients from Hermes Trismegistos, his feet will never get tired and his fists will have the power to smash rocks. But saltpeter is the most important thing. Saltpeter will be the golem's heart.
So you're serious about this golem? And are you certain it'll work out?
Certainly. Otherwise, I wouldn't even try.
How much saltpeter will it take to bring to life such a big creature?
A lot. That's why I want you to find me a decent saltpeter pit. Do you understand?
I was hoping I'd learn something useful from you. But instead, you're making me wander around the countryside looking for some pit.
Well, you never know when an experience like that might come in handy.
All right, then. I'll look around for that saltpeter pit of yours. I just hope you know where to look, that you can point me in the right direction, and also that you'll get me into that wedding as a reward.
Yes, yes, and yes. Bonnie has a lead. She's a damned handy girl to have around. She can do anything you ask of her. But for you, the most important thing is that she knows how to look for niter, or saltpeter if you prefer.
So this Bonnie is some kind of witch who's in on this golem stuff.
Bonnie is someone I trust without question, and you should too. Not only will she teach you how to find saltpeter, but also how to differentiate it from common salt. The main difference is it has kind of cooling taste.
Hold your horses. You want me to taste that nasty stuff?
If you don't taste it, you could confuse it with some nasty rot. And you don't want that.
Damn right.
Don't be such a lily liver, Henry. If Bonnie can taste saltpeter, so can you. She'll tell you the rest herself. You'll find her in the lair. That's a secret storage space I have here just by the pond. Only my best people can get in.
How can I get to this lair?
There's a bridge over the mill stream towards the southwest. Take the path to the left, just behind it along the pond. From that path, you turn right, uphill, between the rocks, and you'll find yourself right in front of the lair. You can't miss it. Oh, and so I don't forget. You could pick some herbs along the way to see Bonnie. It would make her very happy. She's just been through some tough times. Her dog died, and on top of that, she has to spend time with that blabbermouth, Zinnik. On the other hand, Zinnik might be holding his tongue for a while after his encounter with the Troskowitz stocks.
If Bonnie spends time with Zinnik, she may want some spirits rather than herbs.
Bonnie? Never. Being a decent Christian, she avoids alcohol like the plague. Right along, so you're back as soon as possible.
To the lair.
For a few groschen, I'll teach you whatever you want.
Good day to you.
I'm Henry, Miller Krayzel's new apprentice. He sent me to search for a niter pit and said you might be able to help me with that.
Of course I will. I'm Bonnie. Nice to meet you.
Bonnie? It's not a name I hear often.
It's not the name I was baptized with. In our craft, it ain't a good idea to tell people your real name. That's why we use nicknames. What should we call you?
The Wolf of Skalitz.
Well, that's not very creative. You know what? I'll come up with a nickname for you myself when I get to know you better. Did you bring me something from the mill?
Actually, Krayzel said you'd appreciate some herbs.
He's right there. Do you have some for me?
I'm sorry. I got nothing for you.
I reckon I'll just have to scrape together the ingredients for that magic ritual myself.
What kind of magic ritual?
The kind where Zenek finally gets some sense into his head and stops making stupid beginner's mistakes. Just so you know, that mess with the author of Hermes Trismegistos would never have happened to me. Not me. While we're on the subject of rituals, did Krayzel tell you about the golem?
He did.
And what do you think of it?
I'm curious to see what a golem made of flour will look like, but I'm mostly curious to see if Krayzel will really be able to breathe life into it with the help of saltpeter.
I'm more worried that as soon as it comes to life, it'll slay us all with one blow. So, if by some chance it looks like something's going wrong, you won't see my heels for dust. And I suggest you do the same. But that's enough of that. We're not going to stand here talking about flower golems when we've barely just met. I'd like to chat with you too, Henry. Get to know you a bit. But if you're in a hurry to find Krayzel's saltpeter, I won't keep you.
No. I have plenty of time. But where to start?
You know what? I'll start. When they caught Zenek in Troskowitz, I was scared out of my mind that they'd catch me and clap me in the stocks. I had to hide out here for a while, so I haven't had anyone to talk to. Life in the lair isn't all fun and games. Zenek and all the other mill knuckleheads were never worth much as company. So I'm glad the miller's finally found a normal hand for once. You've got a beautiful dog. What's his name?
Mutt.
What a cute fella. How did you find each other?
He belonged to this girl I knew, Teresa. She saved my life in my hometown, Skalitz, when I went to bury my parents.
Well, That's what I call an interesting past. I used to have a dog, but I don't anymore.
He died.
He started getting these lumps all over his body. He stopped eating, just slept all the time. And then, well, what's done is done. And what about you? What kind of family are you from? Also, thieves?
No. Pa was a blacksmith. I inherited something from him, I hope.
Oh, really? Would you teach me how to make, maybe, barrel hoops?
Those are pretty hard. Wouldn't you rather start with, maybe nails?
Sure. I'm pretty quick to learn and patient. That is, with one exception. When Krayzel starts spouting off his alchemy theories, I'd rather run for the hills. What do you think of the old miller, anyway?
I don't know what to say to that. I still don't know him all that well.
I understand. Best not to bite the hand that feeds you for no good reason. Thanks for talking to me. It really is good to have someone to pour my heart out to. But now, about that saltpeter. Before you came, and before Zenek fucked up with the manuscript, we collected saltpeter all over the place, mainly in sties. It has to be scraped from the walls. Horrible work, time-consuming and annoying. I'm not going to lie to you. We also looked in a few chests, just in case. You know. Anyhow, now all the sties in the region are scraped clean and we're sitting pretty on a nice barrel of saltpeter.
Barrel is quite a lot.
For the whole Trotsky region, aye. Unfortunately, Krayzel said we need at least 6 times as much.
6 times? Will one saltpeter pit be enough?
I reckon so. There should be as much as Krayzel needs for his masterwork. If you're looking for it, you ought to know how saltpeter forms. Do you have any idea?
Certainly. You take a damp wall, like in a sty, you let the water evaporate from it, and you get this salty bloom.
That's right. But like I told you, all the sty walls in the region are scraped clean and we can't wait. Don't forget that saltpeter crystals are formed in places where something is rotting. It can be shit or carcasses. Well, A saltpeter pit is actually nothing more than a mass grave, the best natural saltpeter maker.
Krayzel said saltpeter is a vessel for life energy. I get it that it's left over from dead bodies, but how do you get it from shit?
God's mysterious ways. You know how it is.
And he also wanted me to taste it. That's nonsense, though, isn't it?
Unfortunately, it isn't. Otherwise, you won't know if it's saltpeter or some other shit. It feels kind of cold on the tongue.
Jesus. And you know where to look for such a pit full of carcasses, do you?
Not exactly, but I have an idea. Times are evil and there's plenty of corpses. A person who's digging holes and throwing dead bodies into them and doesn't even know he's got a a saltpeter mine.
The local gravedigger?
Exactly. And the one we have here in the region is also the knacker.
Ah, the gravedigger Ignatius. I've already met him. He lives outside Troskovitz in the direction of Apollonia, right?
Aye, that's him.
So I'm in for a walk to the cemetery.
Seems like it. Too bad you couldn't have walked around the county with us before. It was fun. And pretty useful experience. I learned a lot during that time, and I won't keep it to myself. I'd be happy to teach you something, if you want.
I'll keep that in mind.
That old gravedigger will be suspicious, so I'd bring him some kind of offering. He's always dragging those carcasses, so I'm sure he'd appreciate a slab of fresh meat from Troskovitz butcher.
Good idea.
He lives a short way from the cemetery, so at least the meat won't go bad on the way. Lots of luck, the Wolf of Scarlets.
Why do you work for the miller?
Because he pays well, and don't care how much coin I make on the side.
You mean by stealing?
And he doesn't ask any stupid questions.
What did you do before?
I got by any way I could. Believe it or not, I started in a convent.
You? A nun? Well, why not? I was in the cloisters myself for a while.
Oh well, different people have different fates. But we all ended up here anyway, in the armpit of the world.
What do you think about Krayzel?
You're another one of those that don't know if they should love him or hate him, right? Krayzel is his own man. Once you learn to get along with him, you can't help but admire him a bit. But sometimes he's unbearable as soon as he opens his mouth.
What do you know about the Troskovitz gravedigger?
He's a pretty tough old bird. He follows the rule, I'll treat you the way you treat me. And he appreciates when a fella's direct and open. But I probably wouldn't tell him everything about us.
So, Bonnie, the most honest girl I know, sent me. I'd like to see some dead animals as models for painting a church fresco. A scene from the apocalypse.
That might be a bit much, but you learn fast.
How was the saltpeter collection and tasting again? Sounds pretty disgusting.
It wasn't so bad. Xena kept whining about it, but being a saltpeter collector, it has its benefits. When you go and clean someone's sty, they don't pay much attention to you and leave their purses and chests unattended. We made a pretty decent amount on the side.
What, by stealing?
Confiscating property for the greater glory of God. I hate the term stealing.
Just like Krayzel. Tell me something more about Zinnek.
He's Andy, that's for sure. But also a bit of a fool. To be honest, I don't care for Krayzel's bullshit most of the time either. I do this job because it's fun, unlike Zinnek. He does everything for his own good, doesn't give a damn about any greater cause or other people. Actually, he really pisses me off with his attitude. And he entertains himself by coming up with the stupidest nicknames for me. Dunga, for instance. What kind of a bloody awful name is Dunga?
Oh, lovely. And what does he call himself?
Scruffy. Or Jan, Nicholas, Franz, Peter, Jakub. The most bland, everyday names. He tries to be careful, but then he opens his big mouth and fucks it all up, just like in Troskovitz.
What is this lair place?
Krayzel built a store so all them honest, curious people in the mill, the likes of Hensel, wouldn't have to worry their little heads about what we're doing here.
You mean behind that boarded-up door in the cliff?
We're definitely not doing anything there right now. Because of the mess in there. I told Zinnek to clean it up. I think he wants to see if the place will get so rotten that saltpeter will bloom on the walls.
I'd like to learn something.
And what would you like?
Ignatius, I'm gonna need your help.
Of course. How many are there? Where do you want to bury them? Shall we grind the teeth up, or do you want to take them away in your purse?
None of that. I have a different, slightly unusual request. Bonnie from Lower Semine sent me. We're looking for a saltpeter pit.
From Lower Semine? What pit?
A saltpeter pit.
I ain't never heard of nothing like that. What's it supposed to be? A pit to hell?
Yeah, something like that. At night, you hear the cries of tormented souls and catch the whiff of sulphur.
Well, that I can't help you with.
Not to worry. It's actually just a hole with some rotting carcasses in it. These white crystals form in it. And that's exactly what we're after.
You should have said you're looking for the pit I throw carcasses into. What's all this about Salty Peter? I'm going to go there anyway, so I'll take you there.
Really? That was easier than I thought.
Not even a chicken scratches in the dirt without hope of reward, though. You'll help me with something first. I have some collections from some Slatigo farmsteads, and I'd be a fool if I didn't use a helping hand. At least one day I can take it a bit easy.
You want me to help you with your grave-digging business?
Why not? You look like a strong fella. You'll be a good helper.
I have a better idea. You tell me where I can find that pit, and I'll give you a nice piece of fresh meat for it.
I won't say no to that. Show me what you have. Oh, aye, fresh meat. What a feast that'll make. Now, listen closely. That pit of yours lies at the end of a long journey that we'll take together on my wagon.
So you got meat out of me for nothing?
When I see how much you lot in Lower Semine are interested in it, I'm not just going to hand it to you on a plate. But thanks for the meat, and don't worry about a thing. Grave digging is a job like any other. Sooner or later, everyone needs our services. And if it wasn't for us knackers, folk would have to deal with their animal carcasses themselves.
Of course, I understand. I'm just a little worried about what people will say about me when they see me with you. I wouldn't like to lose the honour I've earned as squire to a nobleman.
Don't worry about what people say. They'll only strip you of your honour if you let them. So what then? Shall we take a nice little ride with my boys Snorter and Dragonfly here? Nice and early, at daybreak.
Let's get this over with then.
Didn't you understand me? We ain't going nowhere now. Like I said, be here at daybreak. That's between night and day. Do you understand?
Is there some place I can wait for morning to come?
Of course, if you've got nothing better to do, you can sit here with me. If you know how to read, I have a book hidden in the outhouse I got of a dead fella. That'll make the time go faster. In fact, you can keep it. All I can do is admire all them fancy squiggles in it anyway.
And where can I sleep?
At the inn in Troskovitz. Get a good breakfast there, too. You'll need it to be at full strength. Here's a little something so you know I take care of my helpers. See you in the morning.
I don't know if I'm completely ready for this, but let's get going.
The dew is still on the leaves. The roads are clear. You don't need your horse. I'll stable him here. It'll be heaven for him. In any case, heaven's always close here. Hop on the wagon and Snorter and Dragonfly here will take care of us. We've got a long journey ahead of us, so get yourself comfortable so your arse won't hurt. So, you say you're from Lower Semine, eh?
Well, you could say that. I help the miller with whatever I can. I got a place to sleep there. Soon I'll be able to call the miller uncle.
I remember Krayzel when he was still a wee lad. Even then he was a great big smart-ass. When I buried his parents, he was traipsing somewhere through the world. Maybe you heard what they say about Lower Semine round these parts. Krayzel don't sell short measure, not that. He looks out for his reputation, but his helpers have been seen often in the villages after dark, looking fishy. Or during the day, in the pillories. Don't that Bonnie of yours belong to that gang too?
Bonnie's an honest girl, and her friend Zinnek is too. Krayzel only sent them to scrape saltpeter off the walls of the sties, so that's just what they've been doing. From what she told me, they had nothing else in mind.
Lower Samine's a thorn in the side for a lot of folk. Some on account of the competition. Some is just rubbed up the wrong way by that Krayzel. Either way, all they need's the slightest excuse to grab their pitchforks. Go and grab the miller and shove his face right in his own millstone. Lazy bones. Whoa, boys, whoa! Come on. Come on! Are you deaf? Oh, they're acting stubborn again. Now listen, Henry. Here on the left side, you'll see the ruins of a cottage that's been abandoned for a few years.
It looks mysterious. What treasures might be hidden there?
You'll soon see. I have a trap set inside the cottage. I wanted to lure a wolf into it, but that didn't work out. There's a deer rotting there unnecessarily. So hop in there and bring it to the wagon. Finally. At least we're not blocking the road too much.
이게 맞아? 고작이 이거?
Oh, Jesus, what a stench. Better quickly throw it in a sack and take it back to the wagon.
That was here sneaking around the stars a while ago. You put them up to it, didn't you, knacker?
Hey,
Hey,
got another one.
I want to
over
talk
here.
to you. Drop it and get over here.
Hold on. Can you wait until I get it in the wagon?
Now, I said. You fucker.
What's going on, Ignatius?
Ah, I'm trying to explain to these fellas we've got nothing to do with no thieving around here. They should go to Lower Samine to complain.
Two stinking pieces of shit was sneaking around our sties and cellars and lining their purses with silver too while they was at it. Some scruffy and dunger. You must be scruffy, eh?
I'm Henry, and those, names mean nothing to me.
Like I said, if it's rotten carrion they're after, they should have come to me. A passion for knacking is the only thing we have in common.
Is that so? So prove it then.
Take a good look at me. Do I look like a thief? Or more like a commonplace, maybe just slightly grubby, hired hand? At this rate, you could blame any old peasant who's grimy after a hard day's work.
I don't know. I don't reckon I've ever seen a real thief up close.
Ask around about me and you'll find out everyone knows I can't stand a liar. I'll keep my promises and show up on time. So enough talk, and let's carry on to where duty calls us.
All right, listen. We'll be going then. But if you happen to run into them two thieves, you tell us right away, got it?
Of course.
You can count on it.
Glad to hear it. Let's go, fellas.
Not much left for us to do here, eh?
Hopefully our luck will hold out, and we'll only be breaking the limbs of carcasses today. The next farm's just up ahead. Hop on, and let's go. That was just a kind of little favor for me. Now we'll help the locals here in Jda with their carcasses.
So far, I've just carried sacks. I already did that for the miller.
Yesterday, the good wife from that farm came and told me both their pigs died. So we'll scoop them up and haul them off. I mean, you'll scoop them up and haul them to my cart. She says it was a curse. There was a flash of lightning, the pigs started trembling, squealing and puking, and then keeled over and dropped dead.
All right, that's what you get. People sin here in their seclusion, thinking they're out of sight of our Lord.
It ain't my first day doing this job, so I could see right off them pigs had been poisoned. The good wife swore them pigs were happy as, well, pigs in shit. She said they even let them go to a nearby stream to have a wallow. It flows here through the forest on the right. Since we're here, you ought to go and take a look around there. Check how clear that spring really is.
All right, I'll see what's going on there.
And I'm going to enjoy having a helper. At least for one day. Maybe I'll roll around in the grass here with Snorter and Dragonfly.
자, 가봅시다. 감염의 원인이라
Those
뭐가
pigs
있을까?
came here to drink. Where to now? I can smell something upstream.
자, 상류 쪽에서 뭔 냄새가 난다고 합니다. 자, 여기 부패한 사슴들이 있네. 이게 원인이구만.
It really wasn't a curse. There are rotting carcasses in the water upstream from the watering spot. No wonder the pigs caught some disease.
Well, what do you know? I was right. I'll give you a hand. It'd take you all night on your own.
Jesus, this is disgusting.
Good doggy. Good boy. What now?
I took care of the carcasses. We can drive on.
Nice work. There's even a bit of meat left for me.
Yeah, you'd eat that. They've been lying there God knows how long.
But nicely in the cold. There's nothing wrong with it. Anyway, you won't be eating it, so don't worry about it. Let's keep going. So far it ain't that bad, eh? You don't have to take down no hanged man or bury an unbaptized child.
Well, ever since I started working for the miller, all I did was carry sacks. The sack makers here in the region must live like kings. Of course, it could be a lot worse.
I like having to carry sacks full of thistles. Now listen to me closely. You won't be carrying anything at the next farmstead. Instead, you'll have to make one carcass there. See, the work of a knacker ain't just about clearing away dead animals. Now and then you've got to put down some creature, so it don't suffer. Or, like today, to put it down so everyone around it don't have to suffer. In this case, we're talking about a dog.
Well, what can I do? But I doubt I'll feel good about it.
That cur belongs to the greengrocer, Visar. I've heard they're both pretty fierce. Don't draw too much attention to yourself at the farmstead. I'll give you some Aesop potion to drink first, and some meat and bane. Soak the meat with the poison and throw it to the dog. He'll probably be locked in a pen somewhere. As soon as it's done, we'll disappear before anyone notices anything. I got paid well for it from the neighbors, so don't fuck it up for me.
I've heard you have a dog that's raising Cain around here.
If he's caused you any damage, take it up with Visar.
I'm just curious what kind of dog it is.
Well, if he ran away, no one would shed a tear, that's for sure. But he'll kick the bucket sooner or later, the way Visar trains him.
Does he torment him?
You said it, not me. And stop distracting me. I need to get back to work.
They say you have some wild dog around here.
Monarch is Visar's problem, not mine. We're just glad he keeps the farmstead safe from all sorts of ne'er-do-wells. Like not long ago, 2 fishy types came here to clean the styes. A lad and a lass. And the girl gaped at him like at a ghost. So it's a good thing he inspires fear.
I heard he's an absolute beast.
Them are strong words. Visar just needs to get better as a dog handler. Then he'll be just fine.
I've heard you have some mean old mutt around here.
Monarch! Oh, aye, what a brute. Beysar is training him to be ready for war. Sometimes, instead of shooting at birds, We shoot at the dog, so he'll get used to it. But that bugger always takes off, and then people complain that he killed some chickens. But one day they'll be glad when Monarch saves their hides from some bandits that are marauding around here.
Oh, maybe he should be locked up.
He is, though, in the shed behind the barn.
All right. I hear you have some wild dog here.
What? You're the wild dog, you wretch. If you're another of them bastards trying to steal him or poison him, you'd better make yourself scarce before I set him on you.
I've heard you have some dog that's causing problems in the area.
Give over with that.
I've heard you have some rabid dog that's causing problems in the area.
It's not our dog. It's Beisar's dog.
Oh, they say he's quite a beast.
We're supposed to say he's a good dog that never runs off anywhere, because he's locked up in a shed behind the barn, right? That makes sense.
Well, it sounds more like he's there as a punishment.
Sorry, I have work to do.
Oh, Sakra! The dog isn't here. The door's open. Where did he run off to?
와, 닭. 소리가 들리는데?
Get out!
Call off that dog
Damn
now!
mutt.
Barking. He's coming from over there.
Leave it! Shoo! I hope he didn't eat anything here.
자, 걔가 어디 있는 거야? 여기서 뭐 하고 있는 거야?
Henry, how come you're here?
Bonnie? What are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
The gravedigger wants me to poison that dog.
Jesus! And are you going to do it?
Well, what else can I do? You're the one who sent me to Ignatius. You just tactfully neglected to mention that when you and Zinnek were acting as his hands, you robbed half the houses in the county.
Shit. It's all gone sour.
This is all I have left to do before he takes me to the saltpeter pit.
And couldn't you find the pit without that? Just take a look at that poor creature. I'd like to keep him in place of my poor dead sniffer.
You surely know how to pick 'em. Your poor creature is terrorizing the whole area.
It's not the animal's fault. When Zinnek and I were here last, I saw how old Beisark treats him. He doesn't give him food, he abuses him. With a master like that, he won't last long. You wouldn't kill a dumb creature just because its master is a sick horseman, would you?
Well, you don't have to convince me. Ever since the gravedigger told me to do it, I've been trying to figure out how to save that dog. If you want to take him, I won't stop you.
You're a much better Christian than I thought you were. I'll take him to the lair. We'll meet there.
Hurry off now, before someone sees us together.
Come on now, boy. You'll like it in the lair.
잘 가라, 새로운 삶을 맞이하렴.
It's taken care of.
Taken care of? How? I hope you didn't go soft after wasting your time talking to Visor.
The dog is dead. So, can we go to the pit now?
Dead, eh? And what are you so nervous about?
Well, it wasn't pleasant to watch. I did it exactly how you told me. I poisoned him.
Oh, aye. And how did it go exactly?
Well, I dipped the meat in poison. He ate it, and peacefully departed to doggy heaven.
So, it all went how it should. I use a real strong mixture so the creatures don't suffer too much. He's done for, the beast. Finally. Let's go before we start looking suspicious.
So this is it. This is the pit.
Slowly, boy. Slowly. Have a bit of respect. Death always deserves respect, whether it's people or animals.
But there's hardly 3 heaps here. Is this really it? Are you yanking my pizzle again?
Of course not. True, it used to be one big pit. But then I found out when you pile up carcasses in smaller pits and throw some wet hay between them, it all rots better. And the better it rots, the more nitre you'll have. Are you going to take some right away?
I won't. The miller will probably send some people here.
Well, they'd better not dig it all up. That'd disturb the natural balance, see? And soon they'll find out there's no place to find saltpeter.
Well, I reckon I'm delaying the inevitable. I'll still have to taste it.
You're going to taste it?
It's the only way I can be certain it really is saltpeter.
God's nails. And they say I'm disgusting. Wait a moment. I've got a reward for you. Just so's you don't think old Ignatius and his even older nags is ungrateful riffraff. Take it as a thanks for your help. Maybe you'll take over my trade one day when I'm pushing up daisies myself.
Who knows? Maybe that'll really be my fate. I'll live at the cemetery, build piles of carcasses, and eat bread with saltpeter.
Here's something that'll definitely come in handy if you ever need to go through all this again. Either with me or somewhere else.
Thanks.
맛을 봅시다. 나와 임마.
You didn't have to make such a feast of it.
Look at me. I'm a lord's messenger to a taster of cadavers. Cold and salty. This must be it. If you're going back to your cottage, I'd like to take a ride with you.
Of course. But in return, you have to help me get all this lot buried. So there's some more saltpeter in the making.
I found the place where we can harvest saltpeter. You just head out of Troskovitz towards Apollonia, carry on alongside the road, then head off it at the right spot. Only it's not a pit, it's 3 piles of earth. The gravedigger Ignatius drove me there himself.
And is it the real stuff? Did you taste it?
Yeah. And I hope I never have to do that again. Ugh. I think the experience has changed me forever.
Oh, come on. You whine more than Zinnik. It's just commonplace salt. I was hoping it'd be closer. To go all the way to Apollonia. If I send 2 wagons, that should be enough.
What should I do?
That means I could mix a barrel and a half.
Krayzl, focus. What else do you need from me?
Oh, sorry. What were you asking? About a reward? It's right here.
Thanks. How's it going with the golem?
Well, the whole thing is really appealing to a scholar of my field of interest and important for humanity. But certain circumstances have emerged which, unfortunately, move its creation somewhere further into the future.
Wait, what do you mean? So there won't be any golem?
Not for now.
What about all the niter? The life essence?
I admitted to myself it's maybe too much to take on, and I decided to go back to my roots.
So the search for saltpeter was for nothing?
Not at all. The saltpeter will help us create primordial matter. The origin. Chaos. Materia prima.
God. Here we go again.
As alchemical scholars, we actually have only one task before us. To penetrate the diaphanum and find out where it gets its disposition and power from. Only then will we understand the nature of the shadows.
Eh?
I'll explain it to you.
Tell me then, what's the next task then, Krayzl?
From behind the closed gates of Trotsky come quiet whispers, carried by the wind, all the way here to me in the mill. Do you hear it too?
No. I reckon my ears aren't that good.
Scribe Erezim received a trunk from Prague, and in that trunk was...
The document of Hermes Trismegistos?
No, a book. And from an author more venerable than Hermes. It's thin, with a sand-colored cover, embossed. Ordinary at first glance, but the treasure's inside. You might say it's kind of an alchemical cookbook.
So I'm gonna have to pick some locks again, eh? And in the castle, no less. I'd like to know how I'm supposed to get in there. Trotsky is shut tight.
For some. The gates of Trotsky may appear to be closed to us, mere mortals. But why try to force your way in when there's a person they'll invite in themselves?
What person?
Hold on, we'll get to that. We've got the Samine wedding coming up. I can't wait to try out my new potion against drunkenness there. What about you? You still need to get there?
Certainly. It's why I decided to work for you. Or have you forgotten? I hope your promise still stands.
Of course it does. What do you take me for? Start getting ready. You've almost got a fine outfit, I see. But it still could be a lot better. Ad charisma tuendu. Say a prayer to St. Paul. Maybe he'll send you a few nice things from heaven.
So you'll really get me into that wedding? Am I dreaming?
No, you're not. But before you start celebrating, we won't be going by ourselves. We'll have company. Or, to be more exact, the two of us will be accompanying a certain person. Me as a friend and host, and you as a bodyguard, loyal servant. Call it what you will.
And who is this mysterious person?
A true lady will come to the wedding with us. Radiant as the morning star, refined as pure gold. All will be stunned by her beauty. And she'll be our lockpick that will find the weak spot in the gate to Trotsky. All it'll take is a little push. And clunk! The lock will open, and the book will be mine.
What weak spot?
The castle's weak spot is Chamberlain Ulrich, because he himself has a weakness for women. Of all the single damsels at the wedding, ours will be the most charming and irresistible for him. Noble or not, he's a mortal man, and he'll start to think with his male member. We will watch as he becomes feverish with lust. Soon he'll be begging to take our companion to Trotsky. He'll pretend his motives are pure, so she'll be more comfortable. And when the Chamberlain becomes insistent, you, as her personal bodyguard, will accept his offer. Naturally, you'll say you won't leave her side so you can defend her honor. Once in Trotsky, Ulrich will do everything to get you to leave him alone with her. And that will be your chance.
I can hardly believe that you, of all people, would come up with such a straightforward plan.
Well, it's not all that straightforward. I admit there's a certain element here that makes everything more complicated. First, we have to find our gracious lady.
What?
Look, she doesn't have to be a lady per se. We just need a wench with a pretty face. We'll get her a nice dress, some perfume. She doesn't even have to speak. We'll do the talking.
Could Bonnie do it?
She could. The only hitch is everyone and his dog knows her face. Nobody with any sense would let her into the Sameen wedding.
I'm not a matchmaker.
Who's talking about matchmaking? You go and show what's on offer. That's all. Nothing improper will happen, most likely. But even so, we need a woman who's ready for anything. You can find lots of capable girls at the Jelly-Off baths, including some who aren't so well known. It's true, Dorothy can be a bit unpleasant, but you'll be giving her an offer she can't refuse.
Well, the last time I dealt with her getting your disguise washed, she was quite delightful.
You'll tell her I'm offering enough groschen to buy 2 cows or a small cottage. That should soften her up.
All right. I'll take care of it.
Excellent. You're a talented, likable youngster, like Knight Roland of yore. I have complete faith in you. And don't forget, you're going to need to dress the girl up and make her smell nice so she comes across like a real lady. So, stop off at Troskowitz as well and get her a nice brocade dress and some long-lasting perfume. Mintha would be ideal.
Where can I find the dress?
Where do you think? The butcher's? Go and see the tailor. Bartoszek has just the thing in his shop. A beautiful red dress made of Tyrolean brocade.
Why that dress exactly?
Because red is the color of love and passion. The rich Tyrolean brocade is just begging to be touched. Ulrich won't know where to look. The dress is likely to be pretty expensive. But that's no obstacle for you, right?
Where can I find the perfume?
Emmerich the apothecary might have something. They say he makes some perfume for his wife. Or ask Betty the innkeeper. She may be a god-awful battle axe, but a nice-smelling one. Or get hold of the recipe and make your own mintha. As an alchemy apprentice, you should be able to manage.
I'll be going then.
Once you've got everything ready for the wedding, we'll meet in front of the fortress gate. There, I'll let our lady in on some other details of our plan. but that won't be for your ears. Anyway, you'll be rehearsing your speech to Lord von Berghoff then, won't you?
I can't wait. Do I look good now? I don't want to embarrass myself at the wedding.
Magnificent. I couldn't have picked a better outfit myself. I think you're ready to dazzle them all.
I heard you swear by the alluring fragrance of Mintha.
Only the finest quality, Mintha. And now that I've been invited to the wedding, I'm keeping a close eye on my last 2 files. Do you like it?
I do. What do you want for it?
Haha, I'm definitely hanging on to this one. I take damn good care that no one takes it from me. Such a rarity. Besides, what good would it do you, a man?
You'd be surprised how perfume can help make a man seem more trustworthy. But I'll probably have to give this one to someone else who's also going to the wedding.
Well, I don't think it'll smell as good on her or him as on me. Moreover, I want to stand out at the wedding. Anyone can get Mintha perfume, but of the highest quality, so the fragrance lasts. I prize those little bottles over all else.
Come now, Betty. Who put the idea in your head that you need perfume to impress someone?
Well, women compliment me on it. They say I smell classy, as if I was running an inn somewhere in Italy.
Don't try to be something you're not. I like you best as a real check-in keeper who's not afraid of a few stains from chicken and beer.
Maybe you're right. Maybe I needn't go overboard with the perfume. Sometimes it even tickles me own nose. And it itches where I put it on.
In that case, Betty, you better stop. You wouldn't want anything to happen to you.
It'll be better if I get rid of one bottle. I'm keeping the other one. But I'll give you this one. At least I won't be so tempted to splash it all over me.
Glad to hear that. I won't keep you any longer. We'll talk at the wedding, right?
I'm looking forward to it.
Krayzel has an offer for you.
That old goat always sends you whenever he needs something. What does he want this time?
He's looking for a pretty girl.
That's nothing. I've got plenty of them. What does he want her for? Not for himself, I hope.
Aye, more or less.
What do you mean, more or less? Does he want her for himself or not?
Aye, for himself.
So she's supposed to go to the mill? Doesn't he have a woman there? Has the old pig got no shame?
She's supposed to go to the Semine wedding with him.
What, to go as his companion?
Yes, to accompany him to the wedding.
Strange. Well, what's in it for me?
He says he can offer enough groschen for you to buy 2 cows. Or a small cottage.
It's quite a lot for our usual services.
And that's not all. Your girl will also get a beautiful red dress made of Tyrolean brocade and a perfume called Mintha. Nobody will be able to resist her. I've already got everything. Just say the word.
That sounds nice and all. But something stinks here. Out with it. What's he up to? Who does he want the poor girl for?
For the Chamberlain.
For Ulrich? You know what? I'm tired of this. Let's go and see what the girls have to say. They'll tell you about what they've been through with the Master Chamberlain. Girls, come here. Right, girls. We have a messenger here from Goodman Krayzel. Tell us what you wanted to ask.
Well, it's about the Master Chamberlain.
He's looking for a girl for the Semine wedding.
God, anything but that. Dorothy, I actually have a lot of work to do, and...
Well, who wants to go first? Anna.
What should I say?
What should she say?
Tell me, why don't you want anything to do with the Chamberlain?
Well, the Lord Chamberlain invited me to Trotsky, and the girls warned me that it would be different to what I was used to. So I asked him if I should take a different soap or something. Or does the Master Chamberlain not like silk? Or if his bed is hard and my back will hurt.
If only.
But they said I'd have to do things that... How'd you put it?
Things they haven't even thought of in hell.
I thought the Master Chamberlain might be of a different religion, and that fucking a Christian girl would be a sin. But he believes in the same God as the rest of us.
Which makes it all the worse.
Then I thought maybe he was cruel to the girls, but I hear that's not the case either. It's not what he wants to do to us that's against God.
But what he wants us to do to him.
I thought he had leprosy.
Tell the girls how much Krayzel is offering.
Enough that you'll be able to buy 2 cows.
Or even a small cottage. Not bad, eh? Well, is anyone willing to go with the Chamberlain?
Not even for a golden goose.
I'd rather be celibate.
I thought he had leprosy.
Aye, but it's a tidy sum. I reckon I'll have to choose one of you myself.
Dorothy, I swear that
I'm not going anywhere. You can't make me.
Dorothy, I'll scrub all the tubs here for the rest of my life. I swear. All of them. Every day.
I'll do that too. And I'll even take care of the outhouses.
Girls, come now.
I'll go then. If I can handle it a second time, it'll be a miracle. And maybe they'll even make me a saint.
No, you can't. Dorothy, please don't make her do that again.
Dorothy, for the love of God.
Calm down, girls. Don't worry. I'll never send you to the Chamberlain again. I just wanted to show Krayzel's lackey here what you've been keeping from me for so long.
Christ almighty. I was starting to accept my fate.
God in heaven.
I feel filthy just thinking about it. I'd like to jump in a bath.
So, in case you didn't get the message, lad, no girl from Zhelioff is going with the Chamberlain.
I still don't get it. What's so terrible about him?
Weren't you listening?
What he demands is just... heathen it is.
It's worse than if he had leprosy.
He's not a sodomite, is he?
If only.
That would be a doddle.
I'd go with him twice if that's all it was.
You don't want to know, believe me.
All right. What am I supposed to do now?
Do what you like. We've said our piece. Go and find some heathen girl. A harlot like that came here recently, asking for work. She was from them nomads.
Aye, I remember her. Nose in the air, talking fancy like some scholar.
She introduced herself as Enneline of Winterthur, like she was some noblewoman.
I didn't trust her for a moment. She was pretty, though. There's no denying that. I wanted to give her a chance, but she asked for so much coin. I thought I must be hearing things. Try asking after her in the camp. Maybe she's got a stronger stomach than my girls.
Poor thing.
I'll pray for her.
Well, thank you. I hear there's an Enelin living here with you. Where can I find her?
Enneline is a city girl, used to precious things, so we had her watch the horses. They're worth something. If you don't find her at our forest stables, she might have gone to the pond for water.
I hear there's an Enelin living here with you.
Enneline is a city girl. If you don't find her at our...
I hear there's some Eneline here with you. Where can I find her?
She's calming our horses with her pretty little face. Follow the smell of the fillies and you will find her. Or if not, she will be getting water down at the pond.
God be with you. What would you like?
Are you Mistress Eneline of Winterthur?
Winterthur, Lyon, Vienna. It doesn't matter. What do you want?
I'm Henry. I was sent by Miller Krayzel. We have a job offer for you.
Huh. How did you find out about me?
Your reputation precedes you, miss.
All the way? You're only saying that to please me, aren't you? But it's sweet of you. But be that as it may, what's the job?
To go to the Semine wedding with us. As a companion.
A wedding, you say? The last time I was at a wedding was in Nevers, France. I had to sing there. I'd like to avoid that this time.
You don't have to sing. Or even say much. All you have to do is behave like a lady.
Behave like a lady? Do you mind? I am one. Or hadn't you noticed?
Sorry. I didn't mean it like that.
All right, then. How much?
How much?
How much? Coin, geld, soldi, dinero, mel, grosze. Understand?
Krayzl's offering enough to buy 2 cows.
Cows? Me? I was offered an estate for my services in Antwerp, and a 30-foot gondola in Venice. Although this is only Trotsky after all, I can't expect too much in this backwater. All right then, I'll do it. But first, tell me this. What can I expect at this semin?
You'll be treated to the finest food there. Meats, cakes, maybe even fish.
Lovely. And what else?
Now that Trotsky is closed, there's no more prominent stronghold in the region than Semin Fortress. Someone will surely give you a tour and show you the magnificently decorated chambers.
Tempting. Tempting. And what else?
I even hear Lord Otto von Berghoff will be there. The Lord of Trotsky. Someone will surely introduce you to him. Well, and wherever von Berghoff goes, he's followed by the second most important man in the domain. The Chamberlain of Trotsky, Sir Ulrich von Schaumburg.
The Chamberlain. As in the castle caretaker. I'm not interested in some little clerk.
You should be. He's the one Krayzel wants you to pay attention to at the wedding.
Pay attention? How?
Well, you simply have to seduce him.
I beg your pardon. Do you take me for some cheap whore? A harem girl? A brothel wench? A bathhouse hussy?
I'm sorry, but...
Silence! I am an Elaine, a companion, a courtesan. I am courted by gentlemen vying for my favor. I have been a concubine in Krakow, a mistress in Venice, and a gentleman's companion in Basel. My name is known in Brandenburg, Marseille, and Malopolska. I have fulfilled the wildest wishes of the most important commanders of Sigismund's army. Until he stopped paying, the ginger bastard, I'll do my work the way I see fit. Got that?
All right. Got it.
I should hope so. So, to the point. What do you want from the Chamberlain?
It's mainly about a book we need to borrow from Trotsky. And the way to get it leads right through the Chamberlain and his quarters. And maybe through his bed. I don't know the exact details. Krayzel will tell you himself.
So, common theft. That's a bit of a disappointment. I've played a part in assassinations and rebellions, and now I'm reduced to this. Helping to steal a book. But why not? I expect it won't be anything too complicated, and the coin is certainly worth it.
Not so fast. It won't be that easy with the Chamberlain.
Why do you think that?
Just so you know, Krayzel originally wanted to take a bath wench to the wedding, but the girls said they didn't want anything to do with him because of his special tastes. I asked them what's behind it, and, well, some wanted to vomit after meeting him. Others said they started considering the convent.
Poor girls. Here in the arse end of the world, girls are no doubt used to just lying on their backs and staring up at the ceiling.
Well, it seems it's not about what Chamberlain Schaumburg did to them, but what he wanted them to do to him.
I knew a Schaumburg from Nuremberg, and he was a hermaphrodite. He had both, things. A respected person, a member of the town council. It can catch you off guard, because you don't know what you're getting into. Maybe it's also the case with the local bathwenchers. But I don't want to make fun of the girls. Not everyone wants to try new tricks, if you know what I mean. I must say, I'm quite curious about the Chamberlain now.
You're taking it bravely.
Believe me, it takes a lot to shock me. I'm not easily frightened. And just in case, there's this potion I carry around. A couple of drops and the Chamberlain will sleep like a log. Except I've run out of wine. I should have some at hand, just to be sure.
I can find some wine for you.
I'd manage somehow, but I won't complain if you see to it for me. There's one more thing, though. I don't think anyone will believe I'm a lady in these old rags.
Don't worry about that. Krayzel told me to get hold of a dress and some perfume for you.
What dress?
A red one. Tyrolean brocade.
Brocade. I like it. Krayzel clearly knows what he's doing.
I've got hold of the dress for you already.
Clever boy. I can't wait. Are you going to the wedding as well?
As your bodyguard.
Well, well. Don't you look nice? With a bodyguard looking like that, I'd have to shine like a gem as well. And as for that perfume, it ought to be one that lasts a long time.
Krayzel suggested Minter.
I'll take his word for it.
I've already got it for you.
Come on then, show me.
Shalom Aleichem, mein Herr.
Show me your ware.
I was glad to be of help to you, good sir.
I brought you some wine.
Oh, you remembered. Thank you.
A trifle. I have some perfume for you. Will this do?
My God! It smells just like the yellow headband I wore in Pisa. It brings back memories. Thanks.
I have a dress for you. What do you think?
My, oh my. That is very pretty. Fine handiwork. I'd tidy up the seams a bit, but so be it. We're not in a city, let alone Innsbruck. Thanks.
I've brought you everything you asked for. Are you ready to leave for Semi?
I am. Once you're ready, just say the word.